You got 2 hands up.
No.
That's okay. How's everybody doing? Yes, Dad.
I don't like that shit.
That's all right. You can get over it. All right. You will. I know you will. So listen, my name.
You foul as fuck.
So listen, hey guys, real quick. So we're gonna talk about a lot of stuff tonight, and I really want today, whatever it is, I want you guys to really be honest, be open, be real, and be vulnerable. So here's the thing, right? How many people in here think they have a drug or alcohol problem? Okay. Drug or alcohol problem. Well, here's the deal. Do you think that's your own? Like, do you think that's the problem?
Not necessarily.
No, it's not. Because, like I tell you guys all the time, if drugs and alcohol were your problem, the 400 times before you came here that you quit, you'd have never went back to it, right?
Right.
Right? So the problem is, here's the thing. We have, the book calls it a spiritual malady. I call it a spiritual sickness or the dis-ease of ourself. Everybody, real quick, go to We Agnostics. Page 52.
Where the book at? On the,
That's the 4th edition.
Okay.
Probably going right here.
Okay, so, Trey,
Yes, sir.
from right there, I want you to read from right there, page 52.
How far?
I'll let you know, I'll stop you. Guys, listen, and when he's reading here, I want this to be like he's asking you these questions.
All right.
Go ahead.
We had to ask ourselves why we shouldn't apply to our human problems this same readiness to change our point of view. We were having trouble with personal relationships.
Hold on. Were you, even before you started using, obviously when you're using, having a problem with personal relationships?
Yes.
Yes.
Right? Okay, go ahead. Next one. I'm going to keep doing it like that.
That's fine.
Okay.
We could not control our emotional natures.
Could we control our emotional nature? Were we like well-adjusted, healthy people with good coping skills?
No.
Like I say all the time, how many people in here seriously contemplated suicide when someone broke up with them? No, come on, put your hands up. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of people with their hands. Yeah, but I'm just saying to contemplate suicide because someone broke up with you is not a proper response. Like, do you? And when I said seriously contemplate, I didn't mean like, oh, they're better off without me type of stuff. I'm talking about like, because we can't listen. Why can't we control our emotional? We are super ultra sensitive people. It's why the drugs and alcohol feel so good to us to begin with. Because, and we're going to read this a little bit more. When it talks about this is what the book calls the bedevilments. This, I don't know about you, but this was happening to me way before I ever put a drug in my body. Yes?
We live in extremes.
We live in extremes. But listen, so go ahead, read it again.
We were a prey to misery and depression.
We were a prey to misery and depression. Did you ever just get knocked on your ass with some depression, like out of nowhere? Like you don't want to leave the house, you don't want to do anything, you don't want to talk to nobody, all you want to do is watch ID Discovery. Like you don't even want to let the dog out.
I just sleep all day.
Sleep, well, exactly. And listen, this shit just comes up and gets you. Like, it's not like you even had to go through some messed up stuff.
You don't even want to answer your phone and talk about it.
You don't want, I mean, listen, I didn't even want to let the dog out. I'd be like, fuck it, let him pee in the house.
They were wanting to get
No, for real. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I will admit, I have pissed in a Gatorade bottle because I was so depressed on the couch.
Yeah.
I'm pissing
Yeah.
the Gatorade bottle and the bathroom's fucking right there.
Yeah. I get it. Like, just not wanting to move, I completely understand. All right, so go ahead.
We could not make a living. We had a feeling of uselessness. We were full of fear. We were unhappy.
All right, I like that last one. We were unhappy. We were unhappy. How many of us truly know what happiness is? How many of us were happy our whole entire lives? I'm not saying we didn't experience joy here or there, but here's the spoiler alert type of thing. If you were truly happy and okay with yourself, you wouldn't be chasing that drug or the alcohol.
When I was younger, I
Never was
never
I happy.
Me neither. Frank, I'm with you. Listen, from the earliest age I can remember, I'm looking into the world with these two eyes, trying to figure out every person, place, thing, or situation to make myself feel better because I'm the type of person that can walk into a room like this and completely start comparing myself to everybody in this room. Like I'm either superior to you or I'm inferior to you. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like I don't know how to like just feel a part of. I always felt like something was missing. Am I the only one wrong?
No.
That is what they call the spiritual sickness or the spiritual malady. Like I say all the time, you guys don't have drug and alcohol problems. You guys can write books on how to do drugs and alcohol. And you don't have a stopping problem because, Frank, how many times have you stopped?
I haven't.
All right.
No, I don't know how many times, but Never had to stop.
You've never
Until
stayed
2 months
stopped.
ago.
You've never stayed stopped. There were
So I went
plenty.
to jail, and that's it.
Okay, how many times have you stopped?
Fucking uncountable times.
Brent,
A million.
3?
Well, stop. Literal.
Well, because here,
actually stop.
well, that's what I'm saying. Like, because here's the whole thing. What people don't understand, even those times when you got your head in the toilet and you're like, never again. I'm never having another drink. Never again.
Yeah.
Just because you start drinking the next day doesn't mean at that point you didn't decide to stop and you are 100% serious about that.
Yeah.
You'd have passed a lie detector test on that toilet floor. I mean, on that bathroom floor. You know what I'm saying? Like here, the book says that we lack discipline. Here's a discipline lack. It's not like we can't get up and go to work every day, or some of us eat right, or some of us go to the gym, like some of us, it's not that type of discipline. We will decide that we're not going to drink or get high anymore. We will decide that we're not going to lie, cheat, and steal anymore. And then when that spiritual malady kicks in, when we start feeling like the restless, irritable, discontent, anxious, angry, nervous, uncomfortable, unhappy, we'll reach for something. We'll reach for something. I mean, listen, that's the thing. Like, Frank, I like how you said that, because that was me my whole entire life. I felt uncomfortable. I felt like something was missing. Anybody else? I always had a problem with personal relationships. Only way I didn't have a problem with personal relationships if you did what I wanted you to do. You know what I'm saying? Because as soon as I heard what word, I was pissed off.
No.
No. Oh, God, it was my kryptonite. What do you mean you're not going to do what I want you to do? This is crazy. And then all of a sudden I'm like, but I did this for you and I did that for you. Do you understand what I'm saying? Am I the only one?
No.
Okay, so here's the thing. If I told you guys this, I'm telling you this now, but like, hey, Frank, you don't have a drug problem. You have a spiritual sickness. Like, does that make sense to you?
I would say you're lying. I have a drug problem.
I hear you. I hear you. But what leads you to do the drugs, Frank?
Fear.
Didn't it just say what he read? We were full of fear. Right? Didn't it say that? We were full of fear. Completely encompassed and motivated by fear all the time. What's the 2 major fears? Not getting what you want
Losing.
and losing what you already have. So, go ahead. Keep reading for a little bit.
We could not seem to be of real help to other people. Was not a basic solution of these bedevilments more important than whether we should see newsreels of lunar flight?
Okay, so when it called it that, and there's like 9 things it talks about. The bedevilments. I'm not a person that just runs and looks stuff up. I just try to figure out what the word means. And to me, when it said bedevilments, I figured that just be the devil in me. Because that's the way I felt inside my whole life that caused me to look out and get high or chase things or try to make myself feel better. Like always just uncomfortable. So many people in this world are walking around damaged with spiritual sicknesses. How many people are completely convinced that they can get from the outside, like materialistic things, women, money, job, men, whatever, it'll make themselves feel better?
No.
I mean, isn't that most of society?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, why wouldn't... don't they teach us that in America?
Yeah.
I mean, what's everybody's drug of choice in here?
Spending. Greed. Buying shit.
More.
Yeah.
Everybody's drug of choice in here is more. I don't care what you do, it's always more. Has it ever been enough? Chin, has it ever been enough? It's never enough. It's never enough, dude. It's never enough. Am I wrong? No, it's never enough. Our drug of choice is more. We're always looking for the next one or more. Doesn't our society tell us that? Doesn't our society tell us more is better? Doesn't our society tell us instant gratification?
Absolutely.
I mean, we are conditioned to think this from a young age. How many people in here grew up with money? Grew up privileged? Okay, I didn't. So when I'm growing up and I've got this spiritual malady, this spiritual sickness, this disease of self, I'm completely convinced that as long as I have enough, everything will be fine. Like Kanye West said, right? He said, money ain't everything, but not having it is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you have it, well then it's nothing to you. But if you don't have it, then it's everything. Am I wrong?
Mm-hmm. No, I mean.
That's what it is. So I was always convinced, man, if I just had enough, everything would be okay. And that just wasn't the case. Like it wasn't the case. Like, and like I said, like what I just told you, Frank, if when I was sitting in treatment, if somebody said, hey Mike, you have a spiritual sickness, I'd be like, I don't know. When I get caught with heroin, I go to jail. When I get caught with spiritual sickness, I don't get in trouble. Like, I think I have a heroin problem. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't overdose on spiritual sickness and wind up in the hospital. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I couldn't understand it. Here's a guy that went to treatment 6 or 7 times. And here's the thing, I never wanted to, listen man, I was never okay with being a drug addict. Never thought it was cool, never thought it was the wave, never was like, hey, this is what life is about. Do you understand? Never, from the first time I went to treatment to the last time, I never wanted to get high like that. I never wanted to live like that. I always wanted to put it behind me. And I'd get out and I'd go back to my world and like, eventually that's like, I didn't realize how sick I was inside. Because to me, the further I get away from the drugs and the alcohol, the further I get away, the sicker I get. I mean, I am ready to choke people just because they breathe. Do you know, like, everybody in the world's a fucking idiot. I can't go to a restaurant. What's taking this guy so long? This is that. Like, because when you're so spiritually sick inside, you can't even recognize anything that's good out there. You can't.
Well, I mean, because you're doing
You're
God in your mind.
You're God in your mind, but it's so negative. It's so nothing. It's like you have this disease inside of you that is churning you. Like, all I do is call myself a piece of shit. I hate myself. I'm a piece of shit. I'm no good. You're better than me. You're better than me. You're better than me. I hate myself. I don't know what to do. All I want to do is get some relief. All I want to do is get high because then it shuts off those voices, right? That's what I think. And then I get high and I'm an even bigger piece of shit who can't stay sober. Now I'm going to fuck everything up because I just went to treatment and put everybody on hold. And now I'm doing it again 3, 4, 6 months later. So listen, I want to go around the room and I want to ask everybody in here, what even is spiritual? Like, what do you think of when you hear the word spirituality or spiritual? Like, when I say spiritual sickness, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, right? Is there not 3 parts of us as human beings? There's our physical,
Mind, body, and soul.
there's our mental, and where's the spiritual? Right here?
Yeah.
Well, because, all right, Chris, what do you, like, if somebody walked through that door and somebody's like, man, that's a real spiritual person, or what does spirituality mean to you? Your definition, not the books, but yours.
I don't know, the person got a certain shine to them.
Like maybe a good energy, right?
Right.
Like just like they come in and like, you know, even if you don't know them, you like them, but then you get to like them, get to know them and you like them even more maybe.
Right.
What's yours, Trey?
I'm, you know, I agree with Chris somewhat. It's just like an energy around them, I
Yeah.
guess. You know, I'm struggling with that, but it's just a good energy. It's just a
No,
good,
I honestly couldn't have said it any better myself. That's what I think it is. I really think it is. Now let me ask you this. Yeah, Frank.
And to me, it's transformation to a new person. Like you're not your old person turned into a new person.
Okay. I'm going to come to you next, Chin.
To me, it's something tangible that we can't see. I mean, something that isn't tangible. We can't see it or grab, but it's what connects with all.
Yeah, like what he said, is the energy, right? Like if somebody was a really positive spiritual person that walked into this room and none of us knew him, we kind of almost sense it. Am I wrong? We kind of almost sense it immediately. And then you have a conversation or two with them and you talk to them and you say, man, I like that guy.
Right.
Someone who,
Exactly what I was going to say. Okay.
someone who can make connections emotionally, personally, positively,
Open, maybe?
completely.
Yeah. Well, because here's the thing. Guys, here's the thing. If you're a drug addict and alcoholic, right? By definition, you're a liar, cheat, and a thief. Anybody not agree with that? You don't? Because
No, I
here's-
agree.
Yeah, because here's the thing. Obviously, we're lying. No, we're not getting high. We are, right? And any of us that have ever driven under the influence, we're trying to cheat the system.
Oh yeah.
And if you don't think you're a thief, because maybe you don't steal money or you don't steal personal items, if there's anybody out there that loves you or worries about you, you're stealing their serenity, right?
Yeah.
So what I mean by that, the liar, cheat, and the thief thing is, you're kind of sucking the life out of people. Like, so when you walk through the door, or when I would walk through the door like that, everybody would be like, oh shit, I wonder what's going on now. Like, what, you know what I'm saying? Like, they got the side eye with me. They're like, oh, what kind of condition is he going to be in? What's it going to be now? This, that. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, it's like that negative energy. In the book, it talks about how the alcoholic roars through the family like a tornado, leaving nothing untouched. We are those tornadoes. But like a real spiritual person is kind of given to the world, right? Like, they're not sucking the life out of people. They're kind of breathing life into people. Am I wrong?
no, I think you're right. But I just wonder if, I wonder if we were the only ones that, in the room that couldn't realize it, that we were bringing that.
Oh, I think other people realize it.
No, I think
Oh,
everybody, I think everybody
well-
else in the room realized it. I didn't realize it.
Well, and why would that be?
Because we were high. We
And,
didn't care.
and the D word. And the D word. Denial.
Disease or
Denial.
denial.
Denial. We kind of don't look at that because,
We were all right. We weren't high.
yeah.
We were normal.
We think that they don't know, but they know.
I mean, come on, right?
They-
Even a cat
They
knows.
say
You know,
they're
even a
lying.
dog
The
knows.
dog even knows.
What? Yeah, I know. Or how about this? Or when we actually do admit it, what do we admit to? Just
can't
2
lie.
beers.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? No crystal meth in there.
I
Just
would
2
never
beers.
tell them how much I was doing. Shit.
No, we
You ain't
always.
driving like that. And I say, I'm all right.
Yeah, I got this. Anybody in here ever say I got this?
Yeah.
Anybody?
False cigarette.
How about this? Anybody ever say this? Don't worry about you. Worry about me. Anybody ever tell themselves this lie? I'm only hurting myself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
I mean, how fucked up is that, right? Like, if you have people that love you and care about you, and you're telling them, I'm only hurting myself, they're watching you like a train wreck, right? Like, they're watching you beat your head against the wall. They go, please stop. Please stop. And you're like, worry about yourself. I got this. I'm only hurting myself. This, that, the other thing. But I mean, if you love somebody, man, you want the best for them. And that is not the best for them. So, this is what I'm trying to ask you.
Don't ask questions.
How do you think you become, listen, oh shit. Z, can you do me a favor? In the room in there, there's those little things that I've got on that wall. It's the 12 principles behind the 12 steps. I meant to grab it before. Thank you. So do you guys know? So here's the thing, right? Like you said, Frank, I just asked you before. You said, no, I have a drug problem, right? Do you believe the steps of AA can help somebody that does drugs?
I mean, I'm sure it can, but I mean, I never believed in it.
Okay, which is fine. Dude, I understand. I didn't believe in it until I did it either. But here's the thing. My point is, let's just pretend that you're like, I'm on it. Thank you, Z. How many of the steps even have the word alcohol in it?
Only one.
Only one.
The first one.
So what does that kind of tell you guys?
It's a whole problem with
It's
us.
really not about the alcohol, right? Like, it's not about the alcohol. All right. Kyle, I want you to read it. So listen, there is principles behind every step. Anybody in here know what it's like to live by principles?
I mean, for a minute.
Well, you
I mean, we
understand,
do,
but
but-
you yeah, exactly. Listen. Honestly, I think we all actually live by principles. What happens is, in our in our addiction, we bend those principles, right? So I'm just saying though, but you get you grasp the concept of living by principles,
Yep.
right? Who's in the military here? I mean, come on, you guys are real. You know what I'm saying? You guys live by codes and all that. So, but you understand where I'm going, right? So listen, Kyle, read the 12 principles.
All right.
And what's the first one? The first one's a shock, you guys.
All right. The 12 principles: honesty.
That's the second
Do
one.
we all not have a problem with honesty? You want to know how much I lie to this day? My boss will ask me about something. I lie when I don't even have to. My other boss will ask me at my job, like, how'd that job go? And for some reason, I make it harder than it really was. You know what I mean? And then I look back and I'm like, why did I even do that? Like, it's just so ingrained in me to bullshit sometimes. Like, you know what I mean? Because I'm like, it doesn't hurt nobody, right? Like, I'm not like lying about somebody doing something messed up. I'm not lying to get myself out of trouble. So I'll even catch myself to this day lying and making myself look better than I really need to. And here's the crazy part: my boss don't give a fuck.
So when we try to lie,
Do you understand what I'm saying? He's like, all right, cool, it's done. Let's go. All right, so go ahead.
Hope,
Yeah.
faith, courage, integrity, willingness, humility, brotherly love, discipline, perseverance, spiritual awareness, and service.
So now, if you're living by these principles, what are you automatically gonna do? Guys, shh. You're gonna be a better person, right? Because here's the thing: that being a liar, cheat, and a thief, that shit is destroying your conscience. And for me, it got me calling myself no good and a piece of shit and I'm this and I'm that. And it's like my spiritual sickness just kept getting worse and worse and worse because I was no good. See, here's the thing, guys: happiness is a byproduct of clean living, right? Because the last 4.5 years of my life, like not using, not lying, cheating, and stealing, and doing all this stuff, haven't really had to call myself a piece of shit like that. Haven't really had to down myself like that. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like, I don't really have to feel guilty about the stuff in the past. And then by doing the other steps, like putting the shit down on paper and kind of leaving that in the past, because all these steps are trying to do is get you to be a better person. When you are a better person, you feel better about yourself. Do you understand what I'm saying? instead of the hate, you'll start to love yourself. They say, listen, they would tell me happiness comes from within, Michael. I'd say, I don't know what you mean. Like, I had no idea what that meant. Because inside, I wasn't happy. Inside, I hated myself. Inside, I was so sick. I was so uncomfortable. All I did was compare myself, and I was under the impression that as long as I had enough, I'd be happy. And that just wasn't true. I didn't have any idea what this spiritual sickness was. Does anybody in here not understand what I'm saying? Pam, go ahead.
What?
Okay, I thought you wanted to say something. I'm sorry.
No, just don't cross my leg.
Okay. So, trying to think.
Mike, I got a question.
Yeah.
So, could one interpret like spirituality, like you're going to ask a question, could one interpret that as just that greater force, God?
Well, so anybody in here think I'm a spiritual person?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Trust me, if you knew me, if you knew me 5 years ago, a lot of this you might see if we hung out long enough and you got to know me, right? But really, I walked around a lot of times with my head down, angry, uncomfortable, or whatever. Z is exactly right. See, what these steps do is get you in touch with that part of you. It gets you in touch with God. Because they told me, Mike, you need to have a relationship with your higher power. And I said, that makes no sense. Because the only way I can have a relationship with somebody is I can talk to them. And then it said in the book that you need to develop a God conscience. It didn't say you need to find one, you need to develop it, which means you need to make it better, right? Because I always had a conscience. What?
No, I'm just saying, well, I don't know, this is just my thinking.
Yeah.
Like, because I just feel like it's a, like, once you, like, say, if I'm from the streets or whatever, I'm gonna have that street swag, I guess, or that street look. But then as I pull myself into the other side, there's gonna be a transformation to where my whole persona gonna just be different.
Yeah, well, because why do you think that is? Me? All right, I can tell you why it was for me.
Because you're not in that same mind frame, but now you're trying to better yourself, and then your whole way of looking is going to change.
And it's also like I'm motivated by different things.
Right.
I used to be motivated by money, power, respect, however you want to call it. You know what I mean? Materialistic things, money, drugs, girl, whatever it was. And now I'm motivated, like when it says step 3, turn my will and my life over to care of God as I am a son of. Who in here believes in God?
I believe in higher power.
Okay, higher power, God,
Yeah,
right? Do we not believe that God works through people?
Yes.
Right? So who do you think I was turning my will? Like, I became a servant of you. I became a servant of my kid. I became a servant of the human race. What can I do for you? Do you understand what I'm saying? Because I truly believe that as human beings, I was created to teach, reach, help, love, nurture. That's what I think we were all put here for. We are all put here for that. That's our main purpose. It's not for boats and hoes. That shit's cool, but that can't be everything. When you make that everything, you miss the point. What do I say all the time about the Chevy Tahoe thing, right? If we were all Chevy Tahoes, how do we be the most happy Chevy Tahoes there is? The right gas, the right oil, good tires, we drive on the right road, right?
No, I was gonna ask him a question.
Yeah.
With your higher power, like with this thing you were just saying, did it evolve with you, or you just had God?
It's just like you watch something grow, like.
Or your higher power changes with you?
Is he changing?
Your higher power, yeah.
No, he's not changing. He's already got the steps forward for me. You know what I mean? I'm just gotta, when I put my work in, I'm gonna progress and change it to evolve to something different. So like I said earlier, you just shine. You gonna notice the shine about you.
Yeah. And here's the thing, right? Like if you're on a spiritual journey, if you're trying to, because listen, getting back to what I was saying, I think every human being is supposed to be put on earth to build their spirituality up as high as possible, which means to do for as many people as you can, to love as much as they can. Like forget about all these other religions that they've got on paper. I'm talking about love should be the only thing we worship, because what did I say? There's only 2 real emotions you're going to feel your whole entire life, love or fear. All the negative shit is from fear. Love is the only true, pure emotion. So shouldn't we be chasing that? I mean, a human being can't feel any better. And listen, love comes in a whole different ways. It comes from a man and a woman and lust and you know, it's over here and it's bright red. And then it goes down the spectrum. You know, you've got your friends and your family and your kids. And then it goes into just service, right? Like going out of your way for a stranger to help them because you love them and you want the best for them. I mean, that's all love, right? But all of that can make us feel good. And what does it make us feel more than anything? Connected to one another. When we're getting high and drinking and doing the things we are, who are we connected to, if anything? Nothing. Nothing. Nothing will disconnect you from yourself, God, your people, everybody around you. Nothing will disconnect you more than the drugs and the alcohol. Shit will even have you contemplating suicide when you got a lot to live for. Right? How many of us did that? Come on.
All the time.
All the time. That shit sucks the life out of you. Not only are you sucking the life out of everybody around you, you're sucking the life out of yourself. I mean, real self-destructive, kill yourself type of shit. Like when I tell you your brain is hardwired to kill you, if you're not like understanding that, or if you're not like, please just keep it in mind and start watching how your brain will set you up for, you know, you'll get some good advice from somebody and the first thing you'll say is, man, fuck you, you don't know me. You know what I mean? Somebody will be trying to look out for you and help you, and you're like, this motherfucker. Man, don't you know, man, are you crazy? Don't you know who I think I am? Man, I know what I'm doing. Yeah, I know what I'm doing. I'll be fine. I got this. I'm only hurting myself. Don't worry about me.
You did say it perfectly. You're saying, don't you know who I think I am?
Yeah, exactly.
That, it's like,
Well, no, because that's us. That is us. That's our ego.
Yeah.
Listen, your ego is trying to kill you. Your ego tells you you're better than everybody or worse than everybody. And what does that not allow you to do?
be
Connected.
service or connected.
Be connected. We need to be connected with each other. What did you just say before about a real spiritual person? They're open. You can connect with them. They're just giving you themselves and their love and their this. It's like you like that person because you kind of feed off them. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, this is do you think that's us when we're out there? Yes, Zach.
Like most
No, 100% not.
when you tell most people you're going to rehab, they tell you it's for quitting. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, your friends, maybe mine were like, thank God, motherfucker.
Yeah.
You need it. Nobody ever told me, Mike, you shouldn't go.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Some people tell me yeah, and some people be like, no, you don't need it. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
they're lying.
well, here's the thing,
They
and I'm
want
not.
something
They're
from
just
you.
usually listen. Is that person a healthy, well-adjusted person that wants the best for you?
No, one
exactly.
that told me that is alcoholic.
Yeah, of course, exactly.
And he
Well,
just hates it.
well, because here's the
Rehab
thing.
quitters.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Because if you get better, then what's he got to do?
You're right.
Look at his.
Hang out with other people.
Well, not even that. Then he has to look at himself and be like, man, if he had a problem, maybe I do.
Yeah, the light shines on him now.
Yeah, exactly. Because listen, water seeks its own level, man, and we, if we listen, I had a friend in New York. You know what I mean? He's like, oh, what's the matter? You don't fuck with me no more. You think you're better than me? It's like, not that I think I'm better than you, but I actually want better for myself. And I'm not going to apologize for that. You know what I mean? Just because you don't want better for you doesn't mean, you know what I mean? Like I'll never look down at you. Like, but at the same time, like I'm not going to feel guilty for wanting better for myself. You know what I mean?
That's a hard. Not yet. But that's a hard part of getting out of here. Exactly what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
We have to. We're going to be prepared, but we have to go out there and have that real life situation. We're all going to face that.
But see, here's the thing that should not. Here's the thing for you and most of you here. Man, you got a wife and kids.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Fuck what they say.
I-
You're worried about them. You know what I'm saying? So
No
it's
doubt.
like, yeah. Or no.
I think in that situation, your higher powers are gonna probably like motivate you to do step 12 with that person.
Well, see, listen to the thing about step 12, man. It's like you can only help people that want to be helped. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if they're saying, hey, man, rehab's for quitters, man, you just say, all right, man, and you keep it moving like a drug. Like, you just keep it moving. Because listen, don't ever feel guilty for wanting to do better for you and your family. Don't let that.
I was going to
Yeah.
say something about the spiritual side. I always felt like I had two things going on, like the God piece and then the dark piece.
Well, here's the thing, and I'm going to.
Yeah, no, it was
I always thought there was a good Mike on one shoulder and a bad Mike on the other
something
shoulder.
like that.
What I've come to realize is that God, my conscience, has always been showing me the right way.
Right.
It's Mike who likes to react from his lower nature because Mike likes to do what he wants to do when he wants to do it. He don't want to hear it from nobody. And Mike is under the impression that life is you only live once and you want to consume as much and have as much fun before you die. That's what Mike used
I
to
kind
do.
of like the
Yeah.
dark side for a minute. I mean, not anymore, obviously, but when I'm in my funk, like doing drugs, and I'm like
Yeah, but where does that get you? Back to
Obviously,
Yeah, Chris.
obviously.
You ever been in a situation where like it's gonna probably sound a little crazy, but cause this is my way of like, if I do something, alright, basically I'm just gonna get to it. Like you ever be like dang, I got a lot of dishes. I'm just get the big stuff, and then by the time you get through with the big stuff, you're like, well, I might go ahead and watch this little stuff.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you complete the task. But that's why I think like if you put in the hard work at the beginning, you know, you do the steps or whatever. And you get, you know, by the time that you're gonna already be like, I'm already halfway done. I might as well go ahead and finish.
Chris,
and then that's how
You're 100% right. What do you think the hardest step of all them to do is?
It's starting out at the beginning.
Yeah.
One.
Yeah.
Step one is the hardest by far. When you do a real step one, the rest of them kind of boom, boom. And then it's like, all right, and everybody freaks out about a step 4. Oh man, I don't know. Listen to me. Write some shit down on a piece of paper you know you already did. If you've done some things and maybe some street things and you kind of you're a little uncomfortable, find a guy like that's had a worse life than, or a rougher life than you. You know what I mean? Find somebody that like maybe has a neck tattoo or some shit. And no, but do you understand what I'm saying? Because people are always like, man, I'm not telling nobody this and I'm not telling nobody that. It's like, listen, man, if it really is serious, get with a priest. You know what I'm saying? Get with a priest and put some stuff down on a piece of paper. It's not that big of a deal. Because listen, if you listen to me, this spiritual sickness, this disease of alcoholism or addiction, by definition, it's progressive, incurable, and fatal. It will kill you if you let it. So if you have a disease that's trying to kill you, and the disease centers in the mind, so your brain is self-destructive and it's trying to kill you. And the only way up out of it is to do the steps. And not only, here's the crazy thing, not only do you get better, but you can actually get happy, and then you can completely change the narrative. Like, the way you were going through life, you do a complete 180, a complete perspective. Like, instead of sucking the life out of the world, now you're breathing life into the world. Because here's why I say, to me, the steps and recovery are the only thing worth talking about. Because if you're anything like me, and you were fucking the people up around you. And now, instead of showing them abuse or the negative or the addiction, instead of doing that, you can show them like good, healthy coping skills and the positivity. And that has a ripple effect too. So when you are, like, listen, I have become the voice of reason in my family. Crazy. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. I have been, and believe me, like, they were like, my whole, from a very long time, like, they were just waiting for me to go to jail. And then they were my sister was like, I'm coming out there to say goodbye to my brother because I know I'm going to have another dead brother. Like, she was ready to come say goodbye to me. She was living out here. She was coming to say goodbye to me in New York because she just knew I was going to be dead. You know what I mean? And now I've become the voice of reason. Now I can have friends in New York and friends out here and talk to you guys and help other people through things and be positive to people and lift people up. And guess what? They wind up doing that. I mean,
because you're a natural born leader, and I think that a lot of people in this room are natural born leaders. They are just leading the wrong direction.
Yeah.
I mean, think of yourself what you will, but typically, my opinion, addicts they work harder most of the time than everybody around them, and they're leaders.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you this. If you're sitting in this room,
it's the truth.
If you're sitting in this room, your brain is a gift and a curse. Mm-hmm. It's a gift and a curse. We are the type of people, even dragging this anchor around with us, are usually the most attractive personalities, the smartest people, the best at our jobs, the strongest leaders. We're all that, and we're still dragging this thing along with us. Do you understand what I'm saying? You shed that anchor, man, light work. Everything else is light work. Life winds up having such a different meaning. Like for me, all I want to do is help you guys up out of where you are. I was like Frank. I 100% didn't believe the 12s. And listen, if there was somebody telling me that they did it and they were good, I believed that they were telling the truth. But I didn't believe it could work for me. I've had that spiritual sickness, that spiritual malady, that shit that you read before. I had that going on my whole entire life. You're telling me you could be different? You make no sense to me. Do you understand what I'm saying? And because what do I say all the time? Guys, did we really like getting high so much, or did we really, really, really hate being sober?
Hate being sober.
Because I didn't even call it getting high when I was out living that world. I called it getting right.
Yeah, I know that.
You know what I mean? I'm about to get right.
Get well.
get well, get right. Like, I wasn't getting high. You know what I'm saying? But when I was sober, holy shit, I was miserable.
No sick ain't no joke.
No. So it said that, like, so at what age did 14, 15, 16, but Pam, you were a little bit older. Pam, were you having like really good, healthy relationships, or were you having a problem with relationships in the beginning too?
When I was 23?
Yeah, I'm sure you were dating before that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, were you having problems with relationships?
Well, I had several. You know, that I did ask my mother one time in high school. I said, what is wrong with me? Because I was and I dated guys out of school. I just
Okay.
liked older men.
Okay,
But
well that's
I asked her, what is wrong with me? Because I'll just be nuts about this guy. Then all of a sudden, I don't like him anymore.
because
And then I go to another guy.
I think, Pam, you like to chase.
Maybe
It's
so.
about getting what you don't, you know what I mean? Like the grass is greener thing, and it's like as soon as you
Well,
get
then I
as soon as you get over there, you're
Chase
like,
what you can't have.
yeah.
I've always wanted a settled life, and I got that with my third husband. Very settled, very normal life. And don't get me wrong, Mike, we had cocktails in the evening, but two or
Yeah.
three. But they were daily, you know. I'm sure, and then when he died, that's when, boom, the big gallon of vodka came out.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, like I was talking about the other day, sometimes trauma ramps up the way we use because getting back to what he just read before, we were having a problem controlling our emotional nature. Right? You went through something. Here's the thing, you went through something that tons of people go through. Guys, chill.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah. And then we go on. So there's
and you do.
So this is why I push working the steps so much. It says it right in this book. I wish I could find it. Hold on. No. Read this from the top, right here. Well, hold on. All right, read a couple of sentences before that.
Before,
What's so funny?
Nothing. Stupid.
if when you honestly want to, you find you cannot entirely, or if when drinking you have little control over the amount you take, you're probably an alcoholic. If that be the case, you may be suffering from an illness which only spiritual experience will concur.
Okay, and now read the other part. So basically, he just told you, if you're an alcoholic, the only way to cure it is to have a spiritual experience, a spiritual awakening. If that's what you're looking for, what does that, I mean, but it's going for the spirit. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's what the whole thing of this group was. It's not your drinking, it's your thinking, and it's a spiritual disease. It's a spiritual sickness. That's what you guys got going on here. Because I'm telling you, anybody in here like me, and you stop, and you get sicker. Because like I said all the time, why do I hate being sober so much? Because I'm stuck with myself, and inside I'm not good. Go ahead.
To one who feels he is agnostic, or atheist or agnostic, such an experience seems impossible.
No, right here.
Oh, sorry, Mike.
Yeah.
Okay, lack of power, that was our dilemma. We had to find a power by which we could live, and it had to be the power greater than ourselves, obviously. But where and how were we to find this power? Well, that's exactly what the book is about. Its main object is to enable you to find the power greater than yourself, which will solve your problems.
So did you listen to me? Did you see what that just said? The main purpose of this book. Did it say the main purpose of this book is to get you to stop drinking?
No.
I mean, guys, here's the thing. Whether you even believe in it or not, or if you're down for it, whatever the case is, the shit was written in 1935. If we're still reading it today, if there's people out, there has to be a little something to it, right?
Yeah.
There has to be. It just said the main purpose of this book is for you to find a power greater than yourself. That power is in your spirit, but you're not going to find it unless you do the steps. The steps, see, this is the thing. The steps don't give you too much. The steps won't give you anything. What they do is take away things. It unblocks you. It allows you to tap into that power. Because I'm telling you, they would say, Mike, you need to have a relationship with your higher power. I'd say, well, how's that going to happen? Because remember I told you, like, what's he going to do? Text me? Write me letters? Like, how do I do that? How do I do that? And then when it said you need to develop a God consciousness, I'm like, well, I have a conscience. You know what I mean? I do have a conscience. And here's the thing. The more you listen to that conscience, the louder it gets. Because I don't know about you, man, when I was broken and hopeless and everything, I still had this very little voice that would go, come on, Mike, you're better than this. You know what I mean? When even things were as bad as they were bad, they'd say, come on, man, you're better than this. Mike, you need to go to treatment. Because I used to tell my story, and I used to say, I went into treatment this last time hopeless. And that's not really true. Because if I was hopeless, I wouldn't have went. I didn't have much hope. Do you understand what I'm saying? I didn't have much hope, but I went. And that's why it's so crazy, because I was in Boston and this guy's like, you know, Mike, you need to pray. Get on your hands and knees and pray. I'm like, that's not going to work. Like, no way. Like, I told him, I'm not getting on my hands and knees for nobody. And he said, Mike, God's not open nobody. He's everybody and everything, and you need to humble yourself. You know what I mean? So that's what I started doing. And here's the crazy thing. Like, I used to think meetings would get me sober. And I like meetings. But to me, the absolute most important thing in my recovery today is God. The absolute most important thing in my life is God. Because without God, no sobriety. And I am not the person I am for you guys or my family or my kids or anybody else. God is, it says it right in that chapter a little while later. I forgot to highlight it. God is either everything or is nothing. It has to be that way.
I feel the spirituality comes in when you want something more out of life that's not just materialistic. When you said that the craving or the main drug is more, I was just thinking about the materialistic thing or the immediate gratification of something. When at the end of my 2-month stint of just pure crack, I wanted more, which was that spiritual awakening. I wanted more, which was to be successful. I wanted more, which were the things that were intangible, the things that, you know, people see in me, or the love that I get, or whatever. So I see what you're saying with more, and definitely with having a higher power, not just a material thing, having something that's grander and something more than just self-serving.
Well, I like what you said. You thought it was more, you thought it was material, you thought it was this. I think for all of us, we're always under the impression that we get, like, from getting what we want, we'll be happy. Here's the crazy thing. It wasn't until I started giving that I got happy. Do you understand what I'm saying? See, here's the thing. I had been given bad information, just like I had formed my whole life around that like little thing that you had right there. I was convinced from a very young age, as long as I got what I want. I mean, listen, all I wanted to do is what I wanted to do when I wanted to do it. I didn't want to hear it from nobody. From the age of 5. So I was convinced that as long as I could do, I mean, in my mind, how could you not be happy if you could do what you want when you want, right? Yeah. And I was wrong. I was wrong.
And with what I've learned over life is I've gotten everything that I wanted, but anything that has come easy has gone easy. Anything that I've worked for has stayed longer or has been with me for years and years to come.
Yeah.
So if I'm working hard at sobriety, sobriety is going to be here for me.
Yeah. Well, and like I said all the time, like, recovery, it's just like going to the gym. It's not instant gratification. You put the work in and then you see the reward. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't happen overnight. Like, it doesn't happen overnight. And here's the thing. If it did, I don't think we'd appreciate it. Exactly. You know what I mean? Like, you're 100% right. Like, this thing is, like I said, this thing went against every instinct I had in my body. I mean, everything that I was ever taught or learned, or this idea that you know what I mean? Like, I know I'm, like I said, I go through life, I see everybody completely convinced that if they get what they want, they'll be happy. And it's just not true. It's just not true. Now, a lot of people, listen, I had a friend in New York, and he was part of the 5% of Muslim nation. You know what that is? It's a religion. But it says 95% of the world are walking around as robots. They have no knowledge of self as human beings, what they were put on earth to do. No, you know what I mean? Like, they're walking around like you ever see The Matrix? The green pill, the red pill.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they're just walking around like, well, they told them like, hey, you know, do this and this and then you'll be happy. And they're walking around and most of them aren't happy, but most of them are kind of just going by that. Do you understand what I'm saying? See, people like us, we are spiritually minded, spiritual people, because we're very sensitive spiritually people. We are in tune to a world that is in desperate need of repair, and we see things differently than see. How many people in here can see like a homeless person or see somebody in pain and feel their pain?
Oh, me.
That's us. That's why we're so sensitive. That's why the minute or second we put a chemical in our body, we're like, holy shit, this feels like the greatest thing ever. You know what I mean? Like we're walking, like, because I don't know about you, but I wasn't taking care. Like you guys just said, like when I walk into a room that I'm a spiritual person. Do you know why I'm a spiritual person? Because I take care of my spiritual health. My physical, mental, and spiritual. It's like a triangle. The more I take care of my physical health, that's good for my mental health. The more I take care of my mental health, it's good. It's like this thing that goes around. Like I'm that Chevy Tahoe that I keep talking about that I really, really take care of. Like I put good stuff in it. I don't watch TikTok videos at work. I watch this guy, Alan Watts, who's like a spiritual guru, and he says all this cool, you know what I mean? Like, not that I don't ever watch TikTok videos because the guys at work send them to me. You know what I'm saying? But that's not all I do is feed my brain with senseless bullshit. I constantly try to feed it with positivity. I go to church with my girlfriend. You know what I mean? I do this type of stuff. I take care of it. And, you know, when I come here and I give you guys, like, here's the crazy part. No matter how much you guys tell me I help you, I could never help you as much as you help me. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Like the more I give to you, the more love I give to you guys, the more I receive. That's what it's all about. Life is all about love. It's all about teaching and reaching and nurturing and helping each other. That's what we were put here to do. I tell you guys all the time, I get kidney stones sometimes. If I were to fall right down because my kidney stones, not one person in here would hesitate to help me up and do this and do that, right? But because we don't have to rationalize or justify that type of behavior, because that's what we're built to do. When we are out getting high and drinking and lying and cheating and stealing and doing all that shit, we rationalize and justify all that shit to get around our conscience, to get around God, and we do it and we feel guilty and shitty and remorseful and shameful, and we do the same circle over and over. You guys don't have a drinking or a drug problem. You have a spiritual sickness. That's what we need to take care of. That's what you guys need to worry about. Obviously, the drugs and alcohol are part of it. What step is it? 1. Okay, stop doing it. Stop doing it. Do the other steps. Take care of your mental, physical, spiritual health. Like when you leave here, if you're not working these steps and taking care of your mental, physical, and spiritual health, you will get sicker and sicker and sicker until you wind up drinking or getting high again.
Well, Fred says that if you do all the success rate is 100% if you do.
Me and Fred say that shit all the time. 100% of the people that do it, that book and those steps, stay sober.
He says it every day. And
yeah, me and him talk about that all the time. 100, because I don't like talk. Listen, I'm telling you, I wouldn't do what I do if I sat there and go, well, one of them will get it. No, I know this is the whole thing. Like, I just want to give you guys a little bit of inspiration, strength, and hope, and just try to like let you know, like this is what I did. Why wouldn't you want to do this?
Planting a seed.
Go ahead.
No, I was saying you're planting a seed in.
I just want you guys to be the gift to the world. You know what I'm saying? Instead of sucking the life out of the world.
Right.
Like, don't you? I mean, you know, what year were you born?
84.
84 to whatever. There's going to be a dash in between your name on your gravestone. What do you want it to say? A guy that, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you keep going now, it's going to be, man, Trey was a good guy, but, you know, but he fell short, or he had a lot of potential, but this, he did, and you go out and you do this now, the shit they're going to write about you, you know what I'm saying?
No,
and it's not even like, that has nothing to do with ego, has nothing to do with this. I mean, I really believe, like, we're all put here to get our spirituality up so that when we go to, because listen, life on this place is very temporary. Even if you live to 104, what's that compared to eternal life? Do you guys believe that there is a heaven?
Yeah.
Well, I believe in
Oh, yeah.
I believe in eternal life.
Definitely.
I mean, I really believe that we are here to get our spirituality up, get our whatever, so that when we go to the next life, we can be reasonably happy in this life and supremely happy in the next. And here's the thing, even if that ain't true, you went out as a swell guy. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, even if that ain't true, you get to go and, like, instead of sucking the life out of the world, you get to get, I mean, listen, I promise you, you're never going to feel guilty, shitty, remorseful, or shameful about staying sober and doing the right thing. You know what I mean? You're never going to look back on it and be like, man, I should have been smoking crack for the last year. You know what I'm saying? You'll never do that. You'll never do that. You'll look back and be like, man, you know, I can honestly say, like, the last 4 years, like, you know, some people are like, man, you should be, I'm not proud that I stopped selling and doing drugs. Like, you know, I'm not proud of that. But I am proud that I can help people and love people and have relationships with my kids and my friends that, like, I didn't even know existed. Do you understand what I'm saying? Anybody want to say anything? No?
I'll say that, you know, since I started trying to put step 3 in my life. Every morning I ask for His will, and that I hear it, and that I have the courage to act upon it. I'm having conversations that I didn't even know were possible. Like I didn't give a shit what Chin thought. Period.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah, because it was all about you.
I just walked right by him and
Yeah. I mean, listen, we're selfish and self-centered, not because, not because we won't do things for people, not because we won't help people, but because we truly can't look at somebody else's point of view because we're focused on ourselves.
I was operating on my own agenda
Yeah.
all the time.
I mean, that's all of us. That's how it's part of the disease. So listen, let's be real. And, I know most of you are going to put your hands up, but like, who in here is truly determined to go out and work the steps?
This one.
Man,
50-50.
okay.
I'm like he said, 50-50. I don't know if the steps are for me, but I'm still looking at them and trying.
And I mean, what do you got to lose?
Yeah, I mean, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody's asking for a donation. You don't have to give us no money. I don't want your firstborn. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you have to lose?
Got everything to gain.
You got everything to gain.
Yeah.
Listen, read those again. We're going to read those. And listen, if this is you guys, everything that I said applies to you. Read it again.
We had to ask ourselves why we should not apply to
No, not that part. Just the sentence after that.
We were having trouble with personal relationships. We could not control our emotional natures. We were a prey to misery and depression. We could not make a living. We had a feeling of uselessness. We were full of fear. We were unhappy. We could not seem to be of real hope to other people.
Hey, listen, if that's you guys, I'm telling you, this is a way up out of it. I promise you. I bet my kid's life on that for you. And I love my kids. All right, so anybody want to say anything? Anybody, one last, nothing, you guys are good?
Can you sponsor people?
Me? Yeah, but, I mean, only if you're for real. Listen, Jody's meeting at 7. I'm for real. If you're for real, I'm for real. Jody's meeting at 7, guys. Be kind, respectful, show up, share, do the right things. Recovery is not about doing what you want. Recovery is not about doing what you want. It's doing what you're supposed to do so you can get to where you need to be instead of doing what you want to do and winding up in a place like this or jail.
Heard.
Yes, RJ. And then, thank you, man. Listen, I love doing this shit. I love you guys. All right, have a good one.